All right, happy Monday, guys. Welcome. We got two games to go over today. Um, before we get into it, though, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. What we'll do is we'll take a look at what we know so far, read the Vegas odds, then I'll go team by team, talk about players I like, and get to questions at the end. So let's go over the news. This is for tomorrow, but Anthony Davis unlikely to play. Pretty big blow for the Lakers. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Lakers, they're probably going to need to win that one. Let's see. Kemba doubtful too. Celtics are drawing dead. So, Scott Brooks waits until the last day of the season to do the right thing. Why has, he literally waits until the last day. You can't make that up. But yeah, that's the right move. Gafford should have been starting since he joined the team. Whenever he got traded, I forget. I think it was in the Vucevic trade, right? But yeah. Let's see. Westbrook game time decision. I fully expect him to play. He was questionable last game and played. He's gonna play. And then Davis Bertans will remain in the starting lineup. All right. So going over these odds, 76ers and Wizards, the 230 over under. These 76ers are 9-point favorites, and Jazz and Grizzlies are 226 over under. The Jazz 6-point favorites. New crib DK, yeah, still moving some stuff in for sure, but at least got the internet going. That's kind of all I needed. But got a lot of stuff just lying around, so still a lot of work to do. But okay, so let's start off with Philadelphia and Washington. And Philly, to no one's surprise, my favorite team to target in the slate, and it's not even close. I want to load up on the 76ers, but there is one way you get away from these guys, and that's if you think this game blows out, which we've seen a couple of blowouts already so far with this series. So it's a two-gamer. What you could do is, I think there's two ways to kind of go about it. Either you play for the Philly game staying close, and then you get a good amount of exposure to the Philly side, or you play for the blowout in the first game, maybe pick one of the main Philly guys. I think one of those guys can still get there in three quarters and maybe a value play, and then kind of get a lot of exposure to the late game. So again, it kind of depends on how competitive you think Washington can keep this game. But so yeah, Joel Embiid at 9.5, it's just criminally underpriced. This is unreal, right? He in three quarters went for 60 fantasy points. The answer is yes. I'm still tilted about that. Had him at sub 10% ownership, on pace for probably close to 80 blowout. So I was not happy about that blowout. This game, blowout. This game, foul trouble. So this price is the only way Embiid fails is you get random foul trouble or you get a blowout. If this game stays competitive, I don't see a way Embiid fails you. I really don't. So absolutely love Joel Embiid there at the top. And then Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, I think are two of the better plays at the slate too. Ben Simmons should play 35-plus minutes in a close game. Again, blowout. But he's been playing really well. Been stuff in the stat sheet, so I think Ben Simmons looks good. And Tobias Harris at 7.3 also looks pretty solid. Same thing, should play about 35 minutes in a close game. Blowout, but this game stayed close, 51 fantasy points. So I like all three of the big three for 76ers a lot. And then two value plays I like too, Seth Curry, Danny Green. I mean, like I always say in these playoff slates, there's not a ton of value, but these two guys should play over 30 minutes if the game stays competitive. And sure, they're a little bit reliant on the scoring, but this is Washington, and they're going to have a lot of open looks. So I like Seth Curry a good amount. I like Danny Green a good amount. I, again, hate playing this guy because he's like Seth Curry. He's pretty reliant on the scoring, but you kind of have to, right? You got to play some riskier value plays in the slate to allow you to get those stars in. So Green, Seth Curry, I think are two of the better value plays in the slate as well. Really, I love the whole starting five for 76ers. I think you want to load up unless you think the game blows out. Now, a couple of guys I think are intriguing for tournaments. Dwight Howard, again, if you think this game blows out, he might play a little bit more. We know he's a good point per guy. I think normally he probably plays about 10 to 12 minutes. But he's got, basically every game he's got extended a bit because foul trouble against Embiid, blowout. So again, normally I think he gets about 10 to 12 minutes. But he can still go out and get you 10 to 15 fantasy points in that time, maybe a little bit more. If the game blows out, that's where he could have a bigger game. So I think Dwight's intriguing for that reason. The rest of the guys, I'm probably going to stay away from Maxey. Still not getting enough minutes for me to consider him. Shake Milton, the minutes have really been down on him. George Hill's probably the guy I feel the best about off the bench. I think we get close to 20 minutes. Not the best point per guy, but 17, 13, and 12 fantasy points the last 3 games. He is certainly viable. And a Thibault 3-1, I think we had about 15 minutes from him in a close game. He's really not a good point per guy. I think the only way you take a shot on him is if you think the game blows out. Let's move on to Washington. So Russ Westbrook, fully expect him to play. Do I have a ton of interest in him? Not really. Would much rather take the $1,500 savings in Joel Embiid. So Westbrook's nothing more than a contrarian play on the slate. Brad Beal's the guy I like a little bit better because the price point about $2,000 cheaper. Should play 35 minutes. I think Beals is the bring back if I'm going to stack Philly. And you want to bring back Brad Beal's the guy. Now, going over value here, let me take a swig of water. Oh, wow, Brad with a $10 super chat. Thank you, man. DK Beer Money Beer Money Fund and go. Gonna need it for the Beer Money Fund after the way NBA's gone last few days, right? I mean, I just been tilting literally every night. It's like I look at the slate and I kind of like review before making the video. I'm like, did all these things really happen? Did Tristan Thompson really not play in the blowout, but Tatum and Marcus Smart did? Did all the Brooklyn Big Three play in a game that was a 20-plus point game like the entire time in a blowout? Like, there's just been so many crazy things. Like a clear value play in DeAndre Hunter bust. Like, that was just yesterday. There's just so many things. So I appreciate the super chat, man, really. And again, gonna need it with how NBA's gone. So and somehow I cashed last night. I don't know how. Clippers stack. I guess, yeah. So all right. So let's talk about the value here for Washington. Rui Hachimura 4.6. I actually think it's a safer play. In a close game, he should play over 30 minutes. Again, not the best point per minute guy, but we need some cheaper guys in the slate. He's one of the guys I think you can consider. Ish Smith is available to play at 4.5K. It's doable because he's a decent point per minute guy. So, I think Ish is, again, like viable, but a little bit on the riskier side. Daniel Gafford is starting. So, he's played about 20 minutes the last 3 games so far in this series. Be careful, though. I can already see the 2 quick ones on Daniel Gafford. And he is always in foul trouble. And now he's going to be playing... his rotation was a lot playing against the backup 5 against Dwight. Now he's going to be mainly against Joel Embiid. I don't know what to do here because Gafford's a really good point per minute guy, but it's like almost a lock for him to get in foul trouble. That one's a tricky one. I do like Gafford a lot, and let's just say this. If I knew Gafford stayed out of foul trouble and played 20-plus minutes, I would play him. But I think he's going to be popular. I think there's a... better than 50% chance he gets in some foul trouble, and probably early foul trouble too. So depends how you want to play it, but obviously I like Gafford, a good point per guy, just whether or not he can stay out of foul trouble. Bertans, no one likes playing this guy. So last 2 games, 24 minutes, 2 fancy points, 31 minutes, 10 fancy points. But again, they need some shooters out there. He is a shooter. Now, can he hit shots is the question, right? He's got to hit shots to get value. So Bertans, more just GBP value play because he's so reliant on scoring. Neto at 3-4, I think we probably get about 20 minutes. He's been bad recently, but that will lower the ownership. More of a larger field tournament play. And then with Lennon Lopez, if you want to roll the dice on one of those guys and hope Gafford gets in some foul trouble, I actually don't hate it because Gafford's going to eat up a lot of ownership. And I feel like, I'm not sure who, does Len play the backup 5 now, or does it just strictly go to Lopez, and is Len going to get a DNP? Because I feel like Lopez might be their best chance to try to defend Embiid. I don't know. He's min-price. Again, larger field play, but you could do that. Right? It's a 2-game slate. You got to get different somehow. Everyone's going to play Gafford. Maybe you just play for the foul trouble and you take a shot in one of the backup centers and just hope that works out. I don't think it's the craziest idea. But I did hear someone talk about or bring up Korkmaz. So where is Korkmaz? He's the flat min price here. Unless you think the game blows out, I just wouldn't do it. And even in a blowout, right? He only played 9 minutes here. That game was a blowout. I have a hard time getting to him. So just saw it in the chat. All right, let's finish up now with Utah and Memphis. So on the Utah side, once again, Mike Conley's my favorite play. He's going to play 35-plus minutes. Mitchell, I think, is still going to be somewhat limited. We'll talk about him in a sec. But, yeah, I just wanted to get out of the way that Mike Conley looks phenomenal here at 7K. One of the better plays of the slate. Now, Donovan Mitchell to 8K, I actually do like for tournaments. So 26 minutes in his first game and then 30 the second. My guess is we get a little bit more this game. Maybe 32, maybe 34. At only 8K, that makes him firmly in play. I mean, he went for 40 plus in 30 minutes. So I do have some interest in Mitchell. I think there's a little bit of risk, though, with his ankle and the fact that, he's still going to be somewhat limited. Rudy Gobert, as long as he stays out of foul trouble, I also think is a very safe play. Should play 35-ish minutes, and a guy that can block some shots. 4 blocks first 3 games of the series. Even though I hate Rudy Gobert as a player, I think he's a solid fantasy player here. So the big 3 for Utah all look good. Probably Conley being my favorite. Scrolling down a bit more, so guys like Bojan, Clarkson, Ingles feel a little bit too pricey for when Mitchell was out, so I'll probably stay away from these guys. If I had to pick one, I think I'll just roll the dice on Bojan and hope he hits his threes, because he can still have upside. Again, though, he's now at 6K, so it's like you really do need him to hit the shots. If he has a bad shooting game, like maybe a 2 of 12 type shooting game, he's going to kill you. Value, Royce O'Neal, price is getting up to a point where it's like, okay, he's not out of play, but again, pretty low usage guy. The good thing is he should play over 30 minutes. I'd say 30 to 35. Larger field tournament plays, if you want to get different. Derek Favors at 3-2. He's going to play the backup 5. Should play about 12-ish minutes, I think, as long as Gobert doesn't get in foul trouble. Now, the first game, Gobert got in foul trouble, and Favors got extended, and Favors absolutely smashed. So, could you use him as a last piece in? Yeah, you could. Obviously, it's not something I feel great about, but by the off chance Gobert gets in foul trouble, then you're just going to smash, right? Then you're going to low on Favors that crushes. And then Niang, I think, probably gets 10 to 15 minutes. Again, just a larger field tournament play at close to min price. Finish up with Memphis here. So John Moran at 8-4, I think is a good tournament play. He's just playing massive minutes, and he's really turning it on here in the playoffs. He had I would say not so good regular season, but again, in games that are, matter, clutch, John Morant seems to step it up. So I obviously have some interest in him. Jonas Valanciunas I like a decent amount for tournaments. He hasn't played the best so far this series, but he's been in foul trouble a decent amount. I think if he can stay out of foul trouble here and play close to 40 minutes, there's a good chance he can get you there, and I think he'll be pretty low owned. So JV, again, more of a tournament play, though. And then Dylan Brooks, maybe my favorite play on the Grizzlies because of the price. He's also been in foul trouble every single game. As long as he can stay out of foul trouble, he should play close to 40 minutes. It's just a matter of, again, can he, right? Can he actually stay out of foul trouble here? That is the question. With Brooks, he's going to shoot the ball a ton. Slow-mo's a fine filler play. Don't expect 40 again from him, but again, I don't think he's going to kill you. He's a guy that can kind of stuff a stat sheet. I think a fair play. Triple J, more of a tournament play because he's always literally a lock to be in foul trouble. And minutes have been a little bit up and down with him, but not completely out of play. And then off the bench, probably my favorite play is Grayson Allen. Again, though, like I said with Bertans, he has to hit threes to get value. If he doesn't, he has a low floor rate. So last 4 games, 29, 24, and then a 5 and a 6 mix in there. So, you got to know if you play him, there's a realistic shot he goes for under 10 fancy points. But like I said, you got to play some value plays, and he at least has some upside if he's hitting his threes. Just has to hit them. And then I'm probably going to stay away from Bane. I guess, if I had to pick a second bench player, it would be Bane. I think we get about 15 to 20 minutes from him. So Bane and Grayson Allen. Tillman got a DNP last game. Clark played, but only played 7 minutes. Melton, Tyus Jones, not playing enough for me to consider them on this 2-game slate. So that's kind of where I'm at, guys, for the breakdown. Again, let me take another swig of water here. All right, let's get to some questions. Got about 10 minutes left here until I get out of here. Let me refresh again, make sure we're up to date with everything. If you guys are just coming in, if you could leave a like button on the live stream, it does help me out a ton. Let's see, where are we at? 46 likes and 251 viewers. Appreciate it, guys, for a Monday 2-game slate. Again, this is not the most exciting 2-game slate, but it is playoff basketball, and let's do it. All right. I really like Grayson. Yeah, Grayson is, I think they're in need of shooting. It's just a matter of can he hit the shots, but he's someone below 4K that actually has some upside. Triple J or Bojan, even though they're different players, they're pretty similar in the fact that they're more GPP plays for me. Triple J because of the foul trouble risk. Bojan because of his dependency in the scoring. I guess a small edge to Bojan. Tossing this for cash, Ben Simmons, Curry, Tobias Harris, O'Neal, Embiid, Conley, Rui, Gafford. That looks pretty good to me. Alex Len out of the rotation now. Yeah, see, I don't know what Scott Brooks is going to do. That's why I think, maybe rolling the dice on a min-price Robin Lopez is not the worst idea on this slate, and just kind of hope for some Gafford early foul trouble. How many Philly players can you have? I think you can get 4 to 5. I do. Like, if that game says competitive, Philly's the best team to target in the slate. Top fade. Do I have one? Westbrook. Yeah, Westbrook. I don't think he's going to be super popular, but I'm just not playing him at that price. Utility for 5.1. All right, let's take a look. Yeah. It's Rui or Royce, unless you just want to, spend down for Green or Seth Curry. I like them both for value, but if you don't want to leave a ton of money on the table, it's obviously one of these two. Maybe Royce is slightly safer because there's less blowout risk, but I think they're pretty similar. Can you play 5 Sixers? I actually think you can. I think you can play up to 5. Now, again, there's a couple different ways you can go about this slate. You can play for the blowout, too. And then maybe you fade most of the first game, kind of stack the second game. Fine with that. Can you play Mitchell and Conley? Yeah, you can. Both are underpriced. Like if Mitchell plays 32 to 34 minutes, he's underpriced at 8K. And Conley is just too cheap. He really stands out to me. Danny Green or Rui Hachimura. I think the upside is a little bit higher in Danny Green if you can get the shots, but don't have a super strong take on that. DK stand for Draftkings or initials. Yeah, it's my initials. Ben Simmons, Brad Beal, Brooks, Royce, Valanciunas, Curry, Hachimura, and Danny Green. I think it looks pretty solid. Who bust today, so I can roster him, laugh my ass off. Westbrook. You can play more players from 76ers game with blow up. You like more players from 76ers game with blow up potential. Yeah, so if you think the game blows out, then you just avoid most of it. You can play one or two guys maybe. I've loaded up in the second game, Mitchell, Conley, Ja, and Brooks. Dwight Howard's the key to saving salary. Okay, so yeah, so you're playing for kind of the blowout, which I think you could definitely do. Rui or Danny Green. I think a small edge to Danny Green, but not a super strong take on that. Talking on another show about how Scott Brooks said that the Wizards might take the approach of trying to put Simmons on the line tonight. Maybe some intentional fouls come out. Really? Okay. I mean, Ben Simmons was awful. Well, didn't he start like 0 of 6 or 0 of 8 from the free throw line? That's interesting. Kyle Anderson, Danny Green, Favors, or Triple J, Bertans, and Royce. First one, I guess. Best tourney play, I feel like Mitchell could be good. Yeah, I think Mitchell will be a little bit under-owned on this one. So, again, if he plays, maybe this is the game he just gets let loose and plays 38 minutes. If that's the case, he could smash. So, yeah, I have some interest in Mitchell for sure. Mike Conley, Mitchell, Brooks, Kyle Anderson, Gobert, Grayson, Rui, and Bojan. Okay, so you're playing mostly for the blowout then in the first game. What's your strategy if you think Philly blows out? I think maybe you pick one of the main Philly guys. I think still one of Ben Simmons, Tobias, or Embiid will probably still get there in a blowout. And then maybe one value play, and then kind of just focus on the second game. Kind of play the entire starting lineup for the 76ers. I actually think you could. I don't hate it because all 5 should play over 30 minutes if the game stays competitive. So it's doable. I think it'll make your lineup a little bit different. Obviously, the chalk build tonight will be loading up in the 76ers. It's a matter of how many what people want to play. Slow-mo or Brooks? I think I like Brooks more, the upside. It's just there's more foul trouble risk with him. So maybe slow-mo slightly safer, but I like the upside more in Brooks. All right, so Ben Simmons, Mitchell, Green, Bertans, Gafford, Ja, Grayson, and Embiid, GBP. I see no issue with that. Playing the big 3 for Philly. I haven't finalized my lineup yet, but my plan is to try to get a lot of Philly in, for sure. Thoughts on Maxey? Nothing more than a large field dart throw. If the game blows out, I can see him paying off that salary, but you kind of need that. Gobert, Harris, Lopez, or Embiid, Green, and Gafford. I like the second one better. Bertans and Gafford or O'Neal and Curry. That's a tough one. I think the first one is more upside, right? But there are higher risk guys like Gafford because of the foul trouble and Bertans because they're relying on the scoring. But I think if things go right and Bertans is a decent shooting game and Gafford stays out of foul trouble, I think the first one is more upside. Second one's way safer though. Seth Curry, I think probably plays about 30 minutes. O'Neal should play over 32. So second one is way safer. But if the first one can go right, I think it has more upside. So kind of depends how you want to play it. But I definitely think second one is a lot safer. Curry or Gafford. Again, same thing. I think Curry is definitely safer, but I think if Gafford can stay out of foul trouble, he probably has a little more upside. Conley at 8.1K, FanDuel still playable. Yeah, that's still fine. Mitchell or Ja. I think the safer play is probably Ja because he should play more minutes. It just depends on how many minutes Mitchell gets here. Favors or Lopez. I think it's basically a coin flip for me. I think both are pretty similar plays. And both are backup centers who aren't going to play a ton unless some foul trouble happens above them. So, are you like? So would you think Gafford? Like for me, I think Gafford has a better chance of getting in foul trouble than Gobert. That's just me. So like maybe a small lean to Lopez there then. But he also has Len to deal with, and like I don't know how the rotation's going to work out. Where Favors is just him in the backup five, so I guess it's pretty close. Thoughts on Conley, Steph Curry, Anderson, Bertans, and Embiid, Simmons, Brooks. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. You're loading up the 76ers. I like that. 3.2K utility, so basically min price. Yeah, so you got like the backup centers with like Favors and Len and Lopez that are playable. Honestly, the safest way to go might be George Hill, who I think probably plays close to 20 minutes, I would say. So George Hill's probably the safest, but if you want to roll the dice on those backup centers and get a little bit risky, I don't hate that idea. Curry or Green straight up. For me, it's Steph Curry. Best tourney play, I mean, it's a 2-game slate, so like kind of hard to say. I mean, for me, I like loading up the 76ers. So I guess play a lot of 76ers. Thoughts on Dwight? Definitely viable. I think he gets there if the game blows out. If the game stays close, I think we'll only get about 10-ish minutes from him. Simmons, Morant, Mitchell, Brooks, Green, Rui, Gafford. Yeah, I see no issue with that. Incoming Grayson Allen, 6 fantasy point game. Yeah, I mean, that's a risk. There's a lot of other plays have risk today, obviously. Conley, Mitchell, Brooks, Jackson, Lopez, Ja, Allen, Gobert. Okay, so you're playing for the blowout in the first game. Again, definitely viable strategy. Just if the first, you got to know if the first game stays close, you're dead, right? Because if the first game stays close, the 76ers are going to smash. So like if you are fading most of the first game, you absolutely need the blowout. If it doesn't happen, you're dead in the water. If it doesn't happen, just shut it down, move on to the next slate, or move on to just go all in the show on slate. Because if that game's just competitive and you fade most of it, you're done. A lot of lines fading 9.5 Embiid versus Wizards today. Not me. Not me. I will not be fading Joel Embiid. Ingles or O'Neal. I'll actually take O'Neal there. I think he plays more. I'm playing 4+ Philly guys. Do I have to run it? No, you don't have to run it back on from Washington. I don't think you have to. All right, guys, couple minutes left here. Again, appreciate you guys coming to check out the stream. We're at 56 likes. Probably not going to get to 100, but if we could try to get to like maybe 70 or 80 before the end, that'd be greatly appreciated. So if you just came in here and not liked it, if you could, hit the like button. Thank you very much. All right, so Simmons or Conley. Ooh, that's a tough one. I'll take the discount on Conley, even though I love both. Triple J Curry and Conley or Ja Morant, O'Neal, and Bertans. I'll go the first one that's close. My Wizards starting Gafford is I got three Philly, 3 Memphis in my single lineup right now. Okay, Clarkson or Brooks? Brooks is going to play a lot more if you can stay out of foul trouble. Are you playing Gafford? Still debating on it. I don't know, because I know he's going to be really popular, and I agree. If he stays out of foul trouble, he probably will crush. Yeah, Clarkson just a little bit too pricey for me. GBP, Conley, Curry, Anderson, Bertans, Embiid, Brooks, Royce O'Neal. Okay. O'Neal or Rui. Again, that's I've been asked that actually a couple times. I don't have a super strong take on it. Like, they're both lower usage guys that should play big minutes. Right? You got Rui at 4-6. He probably plays 30 or 35 in a close game. It's not the best matchup. And then you have O'Neal that probably plays 35-ish minutes. Better matchup, but he's not a high usage guy. So it's like, I don't really have a super strong take on that, to be honest. I really don't. Dwight or Lopez. If salary doesn't matter, Dwight for sure. He's just a better point per guy of the two. Conley, Curry, Anderson, Bertans, Embiid, Brooks, Royce O'Neal. Okay. Winding down here, guys. Appreciate it. Curry, Green, Lopez, or Allen, Bertans, and Gafford. So, I think the second one is more upside, but all three have a lot of risk. You got Grayson Allen, high risk, high reward. You got Bertans, high risk, high reward, and Gafford, foul trouble risk. So, I like the upside more than the second one if things go right. Harris or Simmons, and that's a tough one. I don't know if I have a super strong take in that. I think if you had their salary for Simmons, go Simmons. But I like both a lot. I do. Bertans or Allen, they're basically the same player, right? They got to hit shots. Both should play somewhat similar minutes, so it's like, I don't know how to answer that because like I don't know who's gonna hit their shots. Patreon time. Yep, guys, that's going to do it for me. So again, recapping the slate one more time. I think, my approach is I really like the 76ers, even though they're going to be popular. I think you could load up on them unless you think the game blows out. That's the way they fail, a blowout. If you do think the game blows out, you can maybe play one or two 76ers from the first game and then maybe load up in the second game. So two different strategies you can go to, I think, on the slate. But that is going to do it. Good luck, guys, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. I think we have 3 games tomorrow, so I'll see you guys all then.